Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Marketing 101. I got a great guest this week, Austin Reed from Horizon.dev, and we are going to talk a little bit about what he does. But thanks for being here, Austin. We appreciate your time.
Oh, I appreciate your time too. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man. We're going to get into some really cool stuff. We're going to talk about AI. I know that's the whole top of everyone's minds right now in business. But where are you from? What do you do? How did you get into it? Where's your expertise? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Denver, Colorado. Well, I mean, I was born in Oregon, but I grew up in Denver. But right now I'm in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I'm a digital nomad, so I travel around. And yeah, man, I mean, I've been a programmer for almost 10 years, like nine, I'm almost to 10. And I used to do like my own drop shipping business, and I learned how to automate my orders and stuff. And I realized that I could apply that to other businesses. And so, I kind of started going down that road. I started the company about 5 years ago with my friend and our CTO, Mateos, who has a master's in cyber. We started it kind of by accident. So he got robbed and lost all his things. And I was like, oh shit, let me try to help you out. So I sent him a couple $100 to get a laptop. And I was like, let me sell a website and let's see, like, you can help me code it and whatever. And then that kind of turned into this. And the rest is history. So now we just help businesses automating their processes, integrating AI, analytics, and stuff like that.
That is a cool story. We didn't talk about that in the green room. All right. Awesome. So then that's how you got started. You've been doing it for almost 10 years and you've been on the cutting edge of this. Obviously, you love this stuff. Being in programming, you have to stay updated. I mean, the websites change all the time. You have to stay on top of it. And you're noticing that AI is taking over. I mean, everything is switching to AI focus. Things that we were using as what we used to call apps or sequences that we used on the computer are now being taken over by AI. Literally everything from images to videos to context to blogging, everything can be taken over to systems and procedures. So as healthcare providers, that's our field, and me as a chiropractor and some other people listening as well, is what are some things that we should be keeping our eye out that maybe we may fall behind the curve here where everyone else is kind of hopping onto. And then 5 years down the road, we realize, what the heck is that? We weren't even doing it.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing a lot of medical fields and healthcare professionals start to use AI to do patient onboarding and to do basic customer service on their business. So long as you follow HIPAA compliance, I don't really see a problem with it. I mean, you're just taking people's height and weight and stuff like that and just making sure everything's up to date and making sure that you direct them to the right doctor, right? So that's definitely something that's being integrated now. Another thing that I've seen that's starting to be integrated now is taking a patient's data and feeding it into the AI, because the AI sometimes can see things that humans can't, and it might be able to predict some things. Where I see this going down the road is I see eventually that an AI is essentially going to have the role of a nurse, without, all the physical aspects of like actually doing the shots and stuff. But it seems like a lot of doctors right now are super hesitant to do that because they don't want, the AI recommending, medication and stuff to patients and whatnot. So I don't think we're quite there yet in terms of regulatory. I mean, I think there'd have to be a lot of regulations in place by the government to even go down that road, but that's definitely the direction we're going to go in within the next 10, 15 years. And I believe that eventually most of our medical work will be done by AI, with doctors kind of supervising the AI overhead and being the specialist that you go to when the AI can't figure out what's going on.
Yeah, super interesting. The hesitation is real. Makes sense. We're taking something very brain-based and knowledge-based. But here's a funny thing I listened to last week was off CBC, or CBS report, or a study that they found. They took the doctor's final examination, medical doctor's final examination to get board certified is a test that they need to pass at 60%. And the average person gets about 75%. They just started using the top 4 AI programs, ChatGPT, Bard, all those stuff. And ChatGPT scored 98% on this test over and over and over again using random questions. And the average doctor gets 75. So it makes you think that, AI is really using the data points at within a millisecond, knowing the answers, because it's just correlated data. The data is the data. 2 + 2 is 4, right? So it can get there a lot faster than we can. So it is correct. I think the hesitation for us is like, well, listen, I don't want AI to be wrong because of the liability. I'd rather be wrong, but it's still the same liability. You're the one at fault, or the AI is at fault. Either way. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's there. The hesitations, humans don't want to give up anything to anything. Makes sense.
Hmm.
But this isn't humans versus the robots, right? Taking over the world. So it's really just a tool that can really go through there. So I like that. So as like things in physical medicine, like chiropractic, physical therapy, aside from vitals, what are some automation or workflow or type things that we can start implementing now where AI is really taking off with just responding to patients? There's automatic chat bots that are out there. There's automatic things that can just respond to patients to keep them in the loop. Just as simple as maybe booking an appointment. How easy is that? Just something that's not really HIPAA heavy. It doesn't have any medical questions in it. It doesn't have any personal information in it. But how are you seeing those tools being used just from an automation perspective of getting clients through the door from a marketing?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, everything's a lot more HIPAA compliant than you think coming from a data perspective. So it's really important to have, OWASP compliant applications. That's a security protocol in the development world. But if it's OWASP compliant, then by default, it is HIPAA compliant just because of the way the data is stored. So even doing like simple patient onboarding, having, name, date of birth, blah, blah, all that stuff, that data is really important. You have to protect that. So making sure those securities are in place is bar none, right? So if you're going to go out and do some AI stuff, definitely have an expert on your team who knows about how to properly store the data, because I mean, if you get hacked, I mean, you're liable for all that information. So I would straight up right now just say, like, make sure you hire an expert when you go down this road. But that aside, I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do in terms of AI. I mean, you could think about just like a patient who has like a skin sore or something like that. One simple photo of that sore that gets uploaded to a system could tell the doctor almost everything he might need to know to be able to solve the problem. Maybe it's a complicated case and he needs to come in or whatever, but let's say that maybe 60% of the cases he can look at it, identify what the problem is, and recommend the solution without the patient ever even having to go to the clinic. That saves a lot of time on the patient's end, saves a lot of time on the doctor's end, and it speeds up the entire process.
Yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. So just through the imaging AI, as we talked about right there, where it just can go straight to the doctor. That's great as well. In our office, we use a lot of the automation type stuff, just chat response bots that
Yeah.
just to general frequently asked questions. What time are you open Saturdays? No. Are you do you
Yeah.
take insurance? Standard questions. Those are great. Those have been around. This has been around for
Yeah.
over a year, really. But to take it to the next level is probably not a doctor's step or a doctor's role to do this. It would be hiring an expert to
Yep.
help custom build these things there. Are there any general type programs out there that help healthcare, like that you could buy that just are implemented, or should everything be custom built for each office?
I think a lot of it should be custom built based on the doctor's needs. I know that there are some companies out there. I'm not so sure about the names of those companies, but I mean, this is so cutting edge at this point that, if you want something that's like, a white glove service that fits your practice entirely, you're definitely going to want a team behind you, not only to build something that matches your company, but also like software like this will grow with the company. And so I always encourage companies to have their own dev team on staff, even if it's just a couple hours a month or something, to help evolve and push the application forward as technology gets better, so that the technology grows with the company itself.
Yeah, no, that's great. It was kind of a trick question because I knew there was no cookie cutter approach to this. So if you were going to start saying something about that, I probably would have cut you off and be like, well, you can't cookie cutter something that's so unique to each practitioner's office because they all do things a little bit different.
Yep.
So that's really cool too. So having that, and that's cool. A lot of our listeners probably didn't even think that's an option where you can hire a team or hire a company or hire you or somebody that could custom build these things to what you need. because each workflow is so unique. I know our office is really unique. So maybe we do want a chat bot that responds to people
Yeah.
after hours, but we don't want them answering any personal questions, or we don't want them submitting any forms in because of maybe the internal software that we have and it doesn't actually store it properly, or whatever it may be. Those are interesting. Those are interesting things that the only way to find out is to talk to someone like Austin and see how these things can incorporate there. And of course, you've got the tools to speedily build these things up, which is really cool. Where are we going with all this? I mean, where not just in healthcare, but where do you see AI? How much is it really going to take off our plates? And rather than be a fear factor of taking over jobs, what's the reality in this? Like, how is this going to be a side by side tool for what we do to really open up space for us to do more things that matter?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, AI is going to revolutionize everything, dude. Every industry, not only healthcare, is completely being changed just due to AI. Now it's possible for smaller companies like my own to compete with big multi-million dollar companies just because of the fact that AI exists. A lot of these bigger companies, they have, SOPs and policies that have been in place for 10 plus years. They have, hundreds of employees and whatnot. And for them to make a simple change across their entire company, integrating AI, for example, is a big lift. And a lot of these corporations, they don't want to go down that road. There's a lot of red tape. There's some older people on the C-level that, are resistant to change. They've been doing it for 10 years or whatnot. And so I think you're going to see that a lot of bigger companies, they're going to start to kind of falter, and some of these smaller, more cutting edge, more lean companies are going to start taking over and really, really dominating the market across multiple different industries. As far as like, what is AI going to do? I mean, AI is going to replace customer service almost entirely across all industries. So that's a given. Outside of that, we're going to see a lot of advancements in analytical. So taking large data sets, feeding it into an AI and predicting, like, for example, the price of rental properties here in 5 years based on historical data. If you feed all that in, you feed in some political data, you feed in some stock data, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, you're going to have enough data that you might be able to accurately predict what a house may cost here in 5 years. And that type of information is invaluable across, for everybody. I mean, any investor, or I mean, even somebody who's buying a house, thinking about buying a house next year, if they knew that that house would be $200,000 less the year after, I think they would wait, right? So, I mean, there's all kinds of things that is going to change across all the industries.
Oh yeah, we're seeing it already in the restaurant industry and service, and how fast they can get food delivered and ordered. Sometimes you're not even talking to the people at the restaurant anymore. It's all AI based on your orders. It's popped up,
Yeah.
they cook it, somebody comes picks it up. They don't even know where or how this all happened.
Or who it
Um,
was or any of it. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I don't know if you got any cool videos. I was just quickly trying to look, and I posted an AI video of a guy just showing what it's like to call to go test drive a car. He's not even talking to a person, and
Yeah.
the guy on the other side's answering all the questions in real time. There's a slight pause, like a second,
Yeah.
but it's cool. And then at the end, he starts asking some serious questions, like some funny questions, like, "Hey, man, if I'm gonna come, you're gonna have to sing me a rap on why this truck is gonna be good for me." And within a second, this guy's like, "Okay, Larry, here goes," and he just throws out a rhyme, and I'm like, "This is nuts!" Like,
Oh, yeah.
customer service wouldn't have been able to do that.
No, no,
uh,
definitely not. Yeah, and it's
right?
crazy the advancements too, because no, it's nuts because if you do a really, really, really good AI, like you can't even tell if it's an AI anymore at that
And
point.
they are. They are. We were warned about this, the conspiracy theorists a few years ago, saying like you're going to turn on the TV and not know if the president's talking, if it's really the president. Like,
Mhm.
I'm like,
We're
that's kind of
already
scary.
there. I mean,
We're
that's
there.
already
We're there.
happening.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. I mean, hopefully we can filter the important stuff like that and not fake people out. But when it comes to that, I think we just have to embrace the fact that when we pick up a call, it may just be that. It may just be we're talking to AI or whatever it is, and they possibly and probably will be able to serve us better because they'll have the answers a lot faster than,
Yeah.
hey, let me talk to my manager, or hey, let me talk to I'll get back to you on that. Like, the AI will be able to answer those. That's pretty cool. So I think embrace it. I don't know how I feel about it. Being completely honest with you, I'm an older guy, so I kind of grumpy about everything. But it's cool. It is really cool stuff. That is awesome. How can you help people? How can they get a hold of you? How can they get started with you? Do you do any discovery calls? Do you answer questions? How can they learn more?
Yeah, I mean, anybody who wants to learn more information can go to Horizon.dev. Just type that in your browser. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, through the website, whatever you want. I do post YouTube videos around some simpler automations, which probably don't apply to healthcare, maybe to the customer service end of just like answering, after hours when they're open and whatnot. But when it comes to like patient information, like I said, you really got to build a custom thing for that. And then, yeah, I always answer questions for free. Like, I'm always happy to hop on a call. We have to do discovery by like, just it's part of the game, because every company has a different problem, and sometimes we can make amazing solutions for those problems, but to be honest, sometimes we're just not a good fit. And so jumping in and doing a little bit of discovery, auditing a company and figuring out what could go better, what is going well, what could go wrong, whatever, is a really important part of the process. And so making sure that we have some time to figure that out, and sometimes we'll find things that the business owner wasn't even aware of, so that's also really important too. But yeah, we're always happy to hop on a free call and just even suggest some ideas to people. So
Great. Yeah, thank you, man. Reach out to Austin. I mean, he definitely knows his stuff. It's great. And thanks for being here today. Thanks for doing this whole little open AI thing.
yeah, I appreciate it, man. I love being here as well. So I
Awesome.
appreciate it.
Take care.
You too.